it's all down to 4 final races in what is an incredible season. There are 2 here tonight, today, wherever you are in the world. There are 2 next week, but these 2 could be the all-important ones that could decide the championship outright. It is going to feel like a Western. It will feel like a shootout today, but Road America is the furthest place away from shootout territory as we go through. I'm Jake Sperry, Peter Mackay along with me for the ride here in your Skip Barber Formula iRacing series. That is what they are racing for here today, $500,000, Peter. And honestly, what an incredible fight it has been in the championship so far. And this is going to have shades of Watkins Glen all over it.
That it is, yeah. And you mentioned a Wild West. Well, I would say this is last chance saloon for the field, particularly Elvis Rankin and a few others, to try and catch Mikel Gada. This is the first match point today in this penultimate round of the championship. And like I say, last chance saloon. If they're going to stop Mikel Gada from winning this championship, they've got to do it here at Road America.
They absolutely do. And this is going to be a very difficult place to go and battle and to put yourself up at the very top and secure everything that's needed. Here's what they're racing for. $500,000 combined prize pool for every single race. First place will get $1,000 to the Skip Barber Racing School in credit, and the hard charger, the driver who gains the most positions in the race, gains 1 day of Skip Barber Racing School. The top 3 all get 5 days of competition licensing at the race school, along with Skip Barber Racing School coaching. But first place will get a full season in the 2022 Skip Barber Formula Race Series, half a season for second, 1 race in the championship for 3rd place overall. And it is still very much up in the air in terms of how everything needs to be sorted. Peter, it is a fabulous prize, but they know they have to work for everything they've got. That's how it looks going in. That is their 8 results in. It is best 8 of 12 right now. And what is so very, very crucial to note, 2 wins today gives Mikel Gada the championship. But crucially, a win is needed for Elvis Rankin, and it must be a win-out scenario for Nicholas Matteo in 3rd.
Yeah, like I said, it really is last chance saloon for those drivers. Mikel Gada is in control at the moment, but as you mentioned, Road America is going to be a little bit more unpredictable. Like we saw at Watkins Glen, there's a lot of long runs, long straightaways here at Road America, which leaves a lot of open to interpretation, drafting and slipstreaming as the cars go down the straightaways. So that is something that Mikel Gada is going to handle. He handled the challenge of Laguna Seca beautifully, but this is completely different today.
It absolutely is. Couple new drivers in there as well. Bruno Carnero, one of them here today, along with Zach Holden, looking to try and make a challenge. But take us around Road America here, Peter. This is probably one of the few tracks in the world that has remained unchanged for almost half a century.
It is. They got it right first time out since 1955. They've been racing here in beautiful Wisconsin. Road America, for me, is one of the greatest racetracks in the world. It is wonderfully North American in its style. It follows the curvature of the landscape. It's cut into the glacial kettle moraine area around here as well. And some of the real greats of raced here. Phil Hill won the first ever race here in a Ferrari Monza, and none other than Carroll Shelby won in what he calls his Texas tuxedo, or some of us might call them old bib overalls. He won here also in a Ferrari back in 1956. So hopefully some of our drivers today, they'll be wanting to channel their inner Phil Hill or their inner Carroll Shelby.
Absolutely, and they'll be hoping that they can get themselves up to the very front here today. This is how the format looks then. So they're racing the iRacing Formula IR04 here, the brand new car brought into the iRacing service this season. They fixed setup, lone qualifying out there, so they have 1 lap to set, and then the racing. 15 minutes worth of racing going forward. And Peter, you know, this is really important. That first grid race sets it up for race 2, and that positioning is vital.
It is. It also means that you can't afford to have a poor round in race 1. You know, if you have a poor race in race 1, that's going to put you on the back foot for race 2. So this race just coming up right now, these 15 minutes are incredibly crucial, and the opportunity to race a full season in the Skip Barber Formula Series, it's an enormous career opportunity. It's a life-changing opportunity, and I'm sure these drivers are fully aware of that.
Oh, they absolutely are, and they are looking to try and push to their absolute limits here today. This is the most amazing battleground to go out there and challenge. This is where we've been: Lime Rock, VIR, Watkins Glen, the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. But it is this round today here on Easter Sunday, Road America, and then just after that, 1 week, Sebring International Raceway. They are two very similar tracks to end the season, Peter, but two very diverse and different realities.
Oh, they are. I mean, looking down that list there, that's just a greatest hits of racetracks, not just in North America, anywhere in the world. And what two fantastic venues to finish: Road America and then Sebring International Raceway. And yeah, two completely different challenges, as you say. That's what we've tried to achieve here in the Skip Barber Racing School Formula iRacing Series, is to find the most complete driver.
And that most complete driver is all about those rounded skills. How can you challenge maybe at the short tracks like Lime Rock? How do you do at these long, fast-flowing tracks here, like this one here at Road America? Everything is very much possible, and every lap is going to be hard fought for as everyone looks to try and put these times together. But the question now has to be asked here, Peter. You sit down, you try and put one lap together in qualifying. We'll be going to the race shortly. How crucial is track position here, especially when you consider this is a narrower track than what maybe other circuits over the season have been?
Well, I mean, you want to be in the leading pack and, you know, be as far forward as you can. And turn 1 and particularly turn 3 at Road America can be a little bit dicey at times. So you want the most optimum grid position you can. However, it's not It's not as critical as it was at Laguna Seca last weekend, where it was very difficult to overtake. Here it's about being in that lead group and being there at the end of the race, Al Unser style.
Absolutely. You've got to buy yourself a ticket to the end, and drivers will be buying themselves a ticket to the starting grid in the next couple of moments. It is Elvis Rankin getting exactly what he wants here today. We know we've got one pace lap coming through as well, so they have a lot of time to warm themselves up. So Elvis Rankin, number 2, puts himself up on pole position. Michael Janney will start alongside him on the front row with the championship leader, number 1. He was the fastest driver in Hot Laps pre-qualification. Mikel Garda will go from 3rd. Leiden Lee will start in 4th. Matt Busa with a very good qualifying effort. He jumps up to 5th position overall. And Simon de Mori, his best so far this season, the Austrian, going from 6th place. A lot of work, though, for number 19, Nicolas Matteo. He just squeaked in, which was the biggest surprise of all when we were getting in towards pre-qualification. He will go from 7th and has a lot of work to do. He's alongside the debutant Bruno Carnero in 8th position. Matthew Zeiss, he will go from 9th place. And often the hard charger in these races, Deegan Fairclough, he will go from 10th place.
Winner from back a few rounds ago at Watkins Glen, Matt Adams, he will start from the inside of row 6 alongside the American Ross Banfield in the number 17 car. On row 7 it will be Jordan Johnson and Pier Francesco Patricolo. Then it's Zach Holden and Roma Bachmann. Michael Romanidis will start on row 9 alongside Felipe Cabrera Loyola.
You can see the final driver there, Jeffrey Decker, at the back of the field. The final 3 drivers not setting a time. And it was interesting, Peter, coming into this one for Felipe Cabrera Loyola. He literally got here at the 11th hour and the 59th minute to give himself an opportunity to race.
Yeah, it's great to have him here. In those circumstances, it's better than not being here at all. And this is a racetrack. If there's any racetrack where you can come through the field, it's Road America. But it's going to be tricky today. I mean, 106 degrees Fahrenheit on the track. That's going to make it slightly slippy, slightly greasy out there on track. So the drivers are going to have to be careful and keep themselves in the game.
It is very, very toasty. And of course, there is still one round left in the championship over, of course, at Sebring, and you have that opportunity to race there with the Skip Barber Racing School. If you can get yourself in with an opportunity, put your laps down, you have a chance to win 1 day's worth of Skip Barber Racing School. You can sign up at skipbarber.com/iRacing series. Get yourself in for the final round of the championship and potentially be one of the 20 drivers available here to race at what is an incredible finishing platform. But we've got 2 races to get through first, and one of the big things I'm looking at as we go around this circuit from the back of our iRacing pace car and a look from up above here, Peter, is just how there is so much grass on the exit of these corners. And pretty much, it's the sort of place you look at and go, there isn't any runoff areas. You have to be very precise because pretty much every corner, one mistake ends your race today.
That it will, yes, indeed, Jake. And yeah, when you're on the grass, there is not really a great deal of slowing down possible. So yeah, you're very much a passenger at that point. So as you say, precision very important here, especially coming to this latter part of the lap where you're really winding on the speeds on the run down towards Canada corner. You can see the drivers just wiggling the tyres back and forward, wiggling the wheel, trying to generate as much tyre temperature as they can, and also aggressively accelerating and braking to try and generate the brake temperature, which in turn heats up the wheel ring and therefore the tyre.
Absolutely. They've just gone through the fabled kink here at Road America. It's a corner which you do not want to be going too wide at any point in time as they take the run towards Canada corner. And of course, the final couple corners out on track, Bill Mitchell Bend, and then turn number 14, which ends out this all-important pace lap as they go through. Elvis Rankin knows a win and a second position keeps him in the championship fight, and that is with Mikel Garda getting a first and a second of his own. Garda knows that 2 wins secures the championship outright. Nicholas Matteo back in 7th. He must win both races to keep his hopes alive, depending on results elsewhere from the likes of Mikel Garda, because he does have a 15th place finish that he does need to improve on. Being in 3rd as he is today with the number 1 car, he certainly has a chance. This big rise up the hill, it'll be interesting to see when Rankin goes, because the pace car has dived down, or dived up, I should say, here at Road America into the pit. And as they crest this rise, look to put the power down, there goes Elvis Rankin, and we can get ourselves underway here. Green flag is up in the air, and we are racing here from Road America. Already a little bit of 2 wide, 3 wide. Garda getting himself to the inside of Michael Janney in a fight for what is second position. 3 wide in the middle as they will shuffle in towards turn number 1, and they just about all managed to find a way through. It's great scrap in the middle. Carnero in the middle of it. Deegan Fairclough there as well.
Yeah, and watch out for Deegan Fairclough. I've seen him so many times not being able to put it together in qualifying, but fantastic in the race. So keep an eye out for the Briton as one of the drivers runs wide, coming out to turn 3. This is a critical corner down at the bottom of this hill. Turn 5 under the Sargento Cheese Bridge they go as well, and you can see Elvis Rankin immediately going to a very, very defensive line in that number 2 car as they head into the braking zone.
Oh, can you blame him, as he was in a bit of trouble as he went through, and it looks like they're going to be trying to get as much as they can. They crest the rise up the hill, moving under the Corvette bridge and trying to get those charges and challenges through in this race. Couple drivers have fallen off the back. Patrick Colo, who's 5th in the championship, as an outside shot of 3rd, is one of them who's really dropped down the order. He might have had issues through the Moraine Sweep and into 5, but they're already through here, the hurry down section. This long carousel, this right-hander is a killer for left-hand side tyres.
Oh, it certainly is, Jake. Yeah, and really leaning on the aerodynamic properties of this iRacing Formula IR04. About 160 horsepower, 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, but it's very lightweight. It's got really good aero. It's like a little baby F3 car, so you really are putting the tension through it here as you head down towards Canada corner as well. Rankin's made a great start and been able to hold the lead, which is not easy here, but Garda's right behind him on the gearbox to head through Canada corner for the first time. But it's this drag up to the finish line. We're predict it right now, we could have a photo finish here.
We definitely could. We just saw there in the background Nicholas Matteo making the position on 1, Mr. Matt Buser. That moves him up into 5th position. It's been a great start for him. A little wide. Oh, almost off there in the back of shot there. Going through. Was that Simon Demori finding himself in a world of trouble? No, it was the car just in front of him there. So that's Deegan Fairclough, who found himself then in all sorts of trouble going up. But here for the lead, we got it side by side. Mikel Garda on the front stretch, trying to make the pass on Elvis Rankin, and he will make the move. He will get it done, and he moves up into that leading position. But Janney and Lee and Matteo are all there. Boost and Fairclough running through, and there's someone going through the gravel in at turn number 1. That's definitely not the plan that was wanted as they went through. This is the sort of track where you have to be precise, and there is no, what you would call here, Peter, traditional hairpin out there. It's a lot of 90-degree corners.
There is. I think that was Matt Adams, the number 9 car with the green end plates and green helmet, as they head down again into turn 5 for the second time today. And Mikel Garda has just taken the lead here as well. Elvis Rankin looked a little bit scrappy coming out the final corner as well. Now he could be under threat again. He might drop back to third here as Michael Janney has a little look there, and with the blue helmets and blue halo.
And the more that Michael Janney starts to fight here, sorry Peter, the more he starts to fight in this scenario, he knows that he'll be losing ground as they go side by side for third position. That's Leiden Lee, Nicholas Matteo up there trying to find a place as well as they go side by side through the carousel. How incredible is that as we focus on that number 2 car there of Elvis Rankin? Look at this. They go too wide through. It's Matteo on the inside. It's Lee on the outside. And now they're going to be too wide, but wisely, Matteo ducks back into line. He wants another little run here out of the kink over towards Canada Corner, where he has already made a move in this race so far today.
And Elvis Rankin here in second place. He's discovered the hard way that you cannot allow Mikel Gada to check out. You have to stay on case with him, because if you allow him to check out, he will do exactly that as well. And Elvis Rankin will know that. So this is a really important sector or two here as well. He's got to get back onto the case of his championship rival. And, well, isn't it quite fitting that they're running the number 1 and the number 2 plate? That's not their championship position. That is their lap time from this week's qualifying. So it just shows you that they are the two guys on the top of their game.
There you just see there on the bottom of your screen the incident there for Pier Francesco Patricolo as he just got a little bit too hot there on lap 1, and that's why he found himself in a bit of trouble. A little bit of snaking then from the front 4 as they run in towards turn number 1. Gada still there with the lead, but this is where you start playing those tactics very similar to Watkins Glen. You don't want to be that driver who leads on the final lap, because you've got 3 very important straights where you can go and you can make that move. This might be good news for Fairclough, Busa and Matteo, who's at the front of that group in 5th place. They might have that opportunity when they start playing those mind games and saying we don't want to make a pass to catch back up to that group in front.
Yeah, that's where the tactics really comes in. As whoa, Leiden Lee has a huge look on the brakes there on Michael Janney, gets the job done, so he wants to make his move forward. So he would not have done that big move there if he didn't think he had pace to move ever further forward as well. So Janney drops back to 4th, Leiden Lee up to 3rd, and I would think that Elvis Rankin, well, it'd be interesting to know what he's thinking. He's either thinking, that's great guys, you keep doing that and I'll pull away, or he's thinking, oh dear, Leiden's obviously up for this one.
And the big key as well is that Leiden Lee has no influence in terms of the championship. Here's a look at Michael Janney then as he runs through the big right of the carousel. You can see his expression on his face, undeterred at this moment in time. He's not concerned. And Rankin there trying to break the draft a little bit there coming off of the carousel. Very interesting to see. He desperately wants to hold on to second. Leiden Lee has got an absolutely monstrous drive, but he's sat up and backed off of it then, so he'll be saving a little bit as he goes through. And then Deegan Fairclough's going to go again up the inside there in the back of shot. He wants to get through on Matteo, and Deegan Fairclough, every lap, he is showing his abilities and talents, because every time you see him going into one of these big braking zones, he's looking for a pass.
Oh, he's been our hard charger so many times in this championship. He's always making moves forwards. As Deegan Fairclough, as we've got the snake running up and down. It's not a train, it's a snake running up and down the start-finish straight. And that's just the drivers trying to break the slipstream. It's so powerful, the aerodynamic toll that is given by the driver in front. But that was quite a lap there from Mikel Gada, 208.8. 209.1 for Elvis Rankin, so the gap now up to about, it was nearly 8 tenths. It has come down a little bit after that run down the straight, but Elvis Rankin cannot afford to give away time to Mikel Gada on this lap, because then the draft will be pretty much gone and Gada will be gone.
Absolutely, and this is an amazing battle, but this is what happened to the 12 machine. This is Jordan Johnson then, as he was running through. You can see, we slow it down for you, moving through. He's going to just grab the gravel ever so slightly. It looks like that's coming out then at the hurry down section just before the likes of that carousel, and he does so well to keep it not only out of the wall there, Peter, but out of that bridge.
I'm amazed he kept the car on a straight line there, because it really did break away on him. Just you put a wheel onto the grass and the grip just disappears, and he held a fantastic instinctive car control there. Very impressive to see, and keeping the car in the race. Like we said, if you have a disaster in race 1, well, that means you're starting off in a disaster position for race 2. So that's a very important save.
It is a very important save. It is the most crucial of saves in terms of his race and trying to get what he can. It has been the sort of race where everyone's just been trying to hold their station. You can see, look at this, nose to tail for what is 4th, 5th and 6th. Fairclough boxed out then as he tries to dive for the inside anyway. 3 wide around the outside goes Matteo, and Gianni on the radio immediately was not happy about that, being effectively the sandwich on that move. And all of a sudden, Gianni finds himself fighting so hard for 5th place, and he just about holds it.
Oh dear, yeah, that's it's getting a little bit spicy there in the midfield. It's got 6 minutes and 25 seconds to go. It's going to be remarkably close, actually, whether we're 3 laps to go or whether we force a 4th lap here. That's going to be interesting.
Certainly is, and it would favour those drivers who are behind. This is Matt Booser's view of it. He has got himself the popcorn seat at this moment as they fight so incredibly hard. Gianni gets himself covered as they go through. All of that battling has dropped them away from the front 3 in this race. Lee, Rankin and Garda, 3rd, 2nd and 1st. So Booser, you can see, having a little look over, just moves himself out of the way, looks down the line, says, hey, what's down there? Okay, 3 cars in front, that's what I'm seeing. And this is where his experience comes in on his racing, which he does on Tuesday nights.
Yes, of course, Matt Booser is one of our drivers in the iRacing Coke Series, the equivalent to the NASCAR Cup Series. And it's a big one.
It's Gianni who's gone around there, and Booser very nearly taking a tag as he went through it. He may have just took a glancing strike against it, but Michael Gianni, it was brewing for a while, but he now finds himself on the wrong side of it. There's your top 3 at this moment. Garda, Rankin and Lee. Now, that gap was up to about 7-8 tenths of a second there on lap 2, Peter. You can see how powerful that draft has been. A couple of clean laps from Rankin and Lee, and they have clawed that gap down by half.
That they have. I mean, last lap around, Elvis Rankin was 0.3 of a second quicker than Mikel Gada. So, yeah, he's really responded. He was under pressure there with young Elvis Rankin, and he responded exactly when he needed to deliver. He did so. So he's now back in the fight, and we need to keep a very close eye what the time is on the clock when they go over the lap. The drivers will as well, because they'll need to know if it's 2 laps to go or whether indeed it's 3 laps to go, because that's vital to how they approach to between now and the checkered flag.
It absolutely is as they go through here. Bill Mitchell, Ben, head towards the final corner. These top 3 trying to give themselves a breakaway. In 4th position in this race is Deegan Fairclough. He is up 6 spots so far in this race. Not the biggest mover. You can just see there. Look how close Matt Booser got in the bottom right of screen to Michael Gianni. You could not fit a piece of paper between them. And now for the race lead, here comes Elvis Rankin going to the outside of turn number 1, trying to get this sorted. Garda shepherds him to the outside, holds him up nicely, but they go through this small kink of 2 towards 3. Rankin might have a chance to make the move here. It's wise for him to back out though, Peter, because he's got that long Moraine sweep run to turn 5.
Yeah, the very long run down the hill, that hard braking zone into turn 5. It's a great passing opportunity as well. And Gada knows that he's back and forward. And like I said, you know what? I would need it. It's my game. I'm going on here as well. For now, as they make the run, and Fairclough has come into the hunt as well. So Fairclough could potentially win this race from outside of the top 10 on the grid. Here we go.
Oh, in the grass, he's been shoved out. Leiden Lee, nowhere to go. Oh, fantastic stuff as they go through. And they're going to fan out. They're going to be 3 wide here for second. And now there's going to be a push. Deegan Fairclough giving a punt draft on the back stretch. They're going to turn number 1. 3-1. Lee backs out a bit. And the top 2 go together. Raki gets turned. And suddenly, so suddenly, this race now turns itself.
Get a look at the replay. It all happened so quickly, but at the moment Mikael Kara over the line takes the win under a heavy amount of pressure from all angles. What can we say about Deegan Fair? My apologies. He started
It doesn't matter where you're from, who you grew up rooting for, what you grew up watching, your home track, your favorite car, the series you've always wanted to race in. When you're ready to know what it's like, we're here, bringing you as close to the action as it gets with the ultimate sim racing experience. With a community of hundreds of thousands just like you. This is iRacing, and here, every day is race day. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you grew up rooting for, what you grew up watching, your home track, your favorite car, the series you've always wanted to race in. When you're ready to know what it's like, we're here, bringing you as close to the action as it gets with the ultimate sim racing experience. With a community of hundreds of thousands just like you. This is iRacing, and here, every day is race day.
Margins could not be any tighter than this, Peter. This, after what is one amazing first race, we saw contact between the top two in the championship and ultimately Garda coming across the line to take first place. It is chances galore at this point in time, but what you'd have to say at this moment is, what can you do in this position? The second race is coming up, and pretty much it's a case of what can you do? Where is your mindset right now after such a huge, close and highly contested lap?
Well, I think if you're, it depends where you are. I mean, start with Elvis Rankin. He's going to be, he's going to be curious after the outcome, at least of what happened here in race one. And I think all he's got to do now is just try and purely focus on winning the race. That's it. Just come through the field and win the race. It's as clear and as simple as that. And then worry about what happens later. For Mikel Gada, for him, it's just about get that car to the flag with no incident, and his pace will take him to a number of points that's going to be good enough. Two very different scenarios, but that's the plan on paper. But we race on tarmac, not paper.
We absolutely do race on tarmac, and because we do race on tarmac, it means that the racing that we've got going forward is another 15 minutes, and it's going to be a heavy bit of work for Elvis Rankin in this second race. He'll have to go from 11th position on the grid, and he will effectively right now have to run the gauntlet here, Peter, to bring himself over to the best position possible.
Yeah, Elvis Rankin's definitely going to have to take some chances, that's for sure. But I'm sure, do you know what? He's an ambitious young man. He's a talented young man and determined. He will do what he needs to do here. I've no doubt of it. He will do what he needs to do to get to that front group. And we saw a few drivers doing it in race one. I mean, look at Dagan Fairclough. We know it's his signature move, of course, but he came from 10th and finished second. So it's not all done for Elvis Rankin yet. But the question mark is, what does Mikel Gada do?
And you've got to look at some of the drivers who are going to be in and around in that second race, because you've got the likes of Deegan Fairclough there, of course, Boosers there, Leiden Lee, Michael Romanidis even we haven't really talked about. He gained 10 positions, was the hard charger, so he could really be a force to be reckoned with in that second race.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, what an amazing charge. I mean, Dagan Fairclough coming from 10th to 2nd and not winning the hard charger. I think that was quite a story, and Romanidis fully deserved that prize for this race. So, yeah, fantastic stuff. And, now we're going to see what Romanidis and Fairclough are capable of, because they must have fantastic pace to be able to come through the field and do that. So let's see. Watch for Matt Busa. We've seen it. We saw it at Watkins Glen. We saw it Laguna Seca. He's a real strategical driver. He's very good in this scenario, and watch for that number 16 car.
Well, Mikel Gada then will start from pole position. You will have the double one alongside him of Deegan Fairclough, who has proven to be a very incredible driver at making moves. So too Nicholas Matteo. He goes from third. He knows his championship hangs on the balance right now as well, with Matt Busa fourth and Leiden Lee in fifth position. Michael Janney will be hoping for something a little bit better in this next race. He starts from sixth position overall in car number 6 and moving over towards then what is the fourth row of the grid. We will have Michael Romanidis, who will be going from 7th position, and Bruno Carnero, who will be getting himself along in position number 8. So, 9th position at this moment overall will be Simon De Mori, and it will then be Felipe Cabrera Loyola who will be rounding out the top 10. But Peter, just before we go to the other 10, we're looking at these drivers right now. They absolutely have to be on it, and it will be Elvis in 11th.
Yeah, Elvis Rankin starting from 11th. He's got work to do, but he can do it. Make no mistake. he'll have Matthew Zeiss working right along beside him there in the number 3 car on row 6. On the 7th row of the grid, right behind Elvis Rankin and Matthew Zeiss, will be Ross Banfield and Pier Francesco Patricolo. Matt Adams, the Canadian, will start on row 8 alongside Jordan Johnson. Then it's Jeffrey Decker and Zach Holden on row 9, followed finally by Romain Bachmann.
Yeah, Bachmann then at the back finished 2 laps down in that opening race, so he won't be too excited about that. But these drivers know that they have the all-important second race. They know where they've been racing, and the crucial thing is that these track conditions, they've actually dropped by about 3 degrees in, I would say, one element. They've dropped by about, I would say, 7 or 8 when it comes to Fahrenheit. So this track is a little bit colder, which means these laps should go a little bit quicker. Everyone should be a little bit more aggressive in this second race.
Yeah, and what that means, if the pace of this race is faster, that means that we could potentially force that extra lap, because we were very close to going a lap longer in that previous race. So that's something the drivers are going to have to keep a close eye on. But I'm sure they'll all have spotters in their ear, keeping them very much informed of what's going on, what they need to know, so they can focus on their driving.
Absolutely they do, and they know how crucial it is to know the width of their machines. They will run through towards turn number 5, one of the key places on the track to make a pass. And this middle sector of the lap, Peter, has been so incredible. We've seen a lot of too wide when they can't resolve it through at turn number 5. The keys that they have to deal with is when you try and make a move, try to make it decisive, and it is so difficult here when every corner feels like a transfer style corner. Yeah, and also the team, the field are so tightly packed. These cars are they're all in exactly the same car, so the lap times are covered. But even on a long track like this, they're covered by such fine margins. So yes, like you say, making that decisive overtake is not straightforward. You have to set it up a couple of corners before. Absolutely, and a couple corners before, everyone is looking for chances and opportunities here on Easter Sunday, and this has been a crucial time for drivers to go out there to try and put their best possible points down on the table. It is also a time for drivers to jump in and get onto iRacing if they possibly can. With a brand new subscription, you can get 40% off of your first run when it comes to iRacing. You can sign up today over at iRacing.com to get yourself in on that. But moving through then, they go towards the king. The key has been how drivers need to stay within that group on the opening lap. We saw very quickly the packs form, about 7 at the front, and then everyone else was fighting for 8th on back. How crucial is it to stay within range of the car in front of you?
It's vital, and if you see an early breakaway, you better get a move on and try and catch it, because that if you lose the leading pack, then it could be potentially game over. So yeah, getting away in that lead group, absolutely vital here. And watch for Elvis Rankin in the number 2 car with the black helmet, starting 11th. This is a vital race in his career.
This is a vital race. This is an all-important race, and it has to be done with absolute precision. He started 3rd in race number 1, jumped himself up forward, and now what can you do as they will run to the final corner, turn 14, out here on this track. And as they go forward, it's going to be all about battling. And because this is such amazing battling, we're going to take ourselves full throttle as the pace car dives into the pit. They will go up the hill, and Mikel Garda, on his command, will let himself try and put the power down. He does now. We're going to be going green here at Road America. got some incredible action here. Those opening couple of laps brought to you full throttle here, Peter. We've seen a number of issues happen out there. Fairclough going for the move, not quite finding it. We saw Gianni and Busa in all sorts of trouble down in the main sweep. This battle on screen right now is the battle for second. And look at them, they're all pushing each other right now because they don't want Garda to get too much of a gap. It's 1.5 seconds right now.
Yeah, Garda really has checked out here. He knows he needed 2 wins to seal up this championship, and he's putting himself in position to do that in the moment. The chasing pack, well, it's just not been able to hold that pace as well. So it's up to really Fairclough and Rankin here to try and lead the pack, try and drag themselves up towards Garda. They've got time to do it, but they've got to be absolutely flawless from now until the end of the race.
They absolutely do. It is worth talking about that it would be unofficial that the championship would go to Mikel Garda at this point. It is still subject to a couple of things out there on track, but it's a 4-car train that is chasing, and the 2 drivers in there that are really shouting out to me that have made great progress on this opening laps of the race. Elvis Rankin 11th up to 3rd in 2 laps, and then Bruno Carnero on his debut here in the series. So that puts those 2 drivers as probably the 2 to keep an eye out on this group to chase down car number 1.
Yeah, I think so. Those are the drivers that have really made a quick push. I mean, Elvis Rankin's doing all that he can do here to try and run down Mikel Garda, but Deegan Fairclough, I think this will be quite a quick run here from the number 11 with the green halo and green helmet. But we're going to see what his lap time's going to be. But Elvis Rankin's got a great run there on Fairclough coming out of turn 14. Underneath the bridge they go then as well. And interestingly, Elvis Rankin going for the bump draft rather than going past, so really trying to push the pace of the group forward to try and catch Garda somehow, to try and be smart here as well. But Bruno Carnero, he says, no, I'm in for myself. The number 10, he moves up into 4th position past Nicolas Matteo.
This is such a dicey scenario. This is the sort of thing where you look at doing this on ovals when you've got yourself a bumper. They're doing so with a front nose. Oh, very nearly there, going off. Nicolas Matteo there in 5th position, just about holds himself together. But this is such a dangerous tactic out there. One wrong bump and the entire train just falls into huge troubles. They are trying everything in the book to keep number 1 close, and they still lost 2/10 that last time by.
Quite incredible. Yeah, quite incredible. And if that trend repeats itself, then Mikel Garda really is in control of this motor race, and it becomes then a battle for second place. But Bruno Carnero, man from Salt Lake City, I'm sure he knows his way around Miller Motorsports Park. He's trying to make his way through to the front of the field. He's made some moves already. He's got Elvis Rankin up ahead of him as well, who goes a little bit wide there on the exit of Hurry Downs to head into the carousel. And Fairclough now actually threatening to make his own little mini breakaway there in second place.
Absolutely, and if it doesn't work, then he may as well go on his own, and that might be some of the philosophy and the thinking that he's working with at this point in time. He'll look behind him at the likes of Carnero, who's trying to find a way through. You've got there another group of 3 just behind this group as well. You can see just in the back of the shot, you've got Simon Demori, Felipe Cabrera, Loyola, and Michael Romanidis all trying to chase down these 4 drivers, 2nd to 5th at the moment. No changes of position as they went through, but those drivers just behind, you can see them right now. You've got Demori chasing Cabrera, Loyola, and as they run through towards that final corner, they also need to coordinate because they are right on the edge, on the cusp of joining that 4-car train in front.
Yeah, that 4-car train could just become a whole lot bigger in a couple of laps time as well. With a gap at the front, Mikel Garda leads by just under 1.7 seconds now, so has more than broken the draft away to Deegan Fairclough, and Fairclough has not been able to make his own breakaway in second. He's got Elvis Rankin right behind him now as well, so Rankin's just, all he can do is try and score those second place points and hope that something transpires that keeps him in this championship race.
He is certainly hoping, and that is a great battle there, and you can see just in front there has been a change for position. Matteo has gone through, and on board we go with Carnero once again. Are they going to do the same again now? They're going to start fighting amongst each other. Rankin's trying to go through. Carnero's got 2 tyres in the grass! Oh my goodness, 3 wide turns to 2, lots of 2 wide as they drive on through. Up the hill now they will go towards turn 6, and somehow they come out of it unscathed. Ryan Hunter-Ray had nothing on Bruno Carnero.
Well, I tell you what, they came out unscathed because of the cooperation there from Nicholas Matteo. He had the door sort of closed, and then he saw Carnero going up in the grass and thinking, oh, I better give a bit of room here too, otherwise we're going to end up in a big pile up there. So Carnero really forcing his way through, showing a real hard charger spirit here. At the moment, the hard charger position very much in the hands of Elvis Rankin. He's progressed 9 places where he is right now. That would give him the hard charge reward, and that would give him that $1,000 credit for the Skip Barber Racing School. Interestingly, if Elvis Rankin were to finish second in the championship, of course, it's not all or nothing. That does give him a half program in the Skip Barber Racing School, of course.
It certainly does. Here comes another little look, and it's not quite there. You can see they're all over each other. Here's a look then with Carnero as he tries to have that little search. He'll be looking behind, he'll be looking in front, he'll be looking left, he'll be looking right, he'll be looking up, he'll be looking down, he'll be looking slantways, he'll be looking every which way in order to try and make sure that he's got himself in the right position. And once again, they will reach this front stretch, they will climb up the hill, and they will know that they will have not long to go in this race. 2 laps, and now here comes Carnero's move as he tries to get the pass sorted. He'll get one. Will he get both of them? He'll try and be shadowed by Matteo just behind, but just like that, he jumps to the front of the train in second.
Ah, the beautiful manoeuvre there from Bruno Carnero, showing some fantastic racecraft, forceful racecraft, but absolutely fantastic. Really making some great moves up the field. He's climbed 6 places, from 8th to 2nd as the American from Utah, and he's still got a bit of a chasing pack though as well. Carnero's got Rankin, Fairclough, Matteo in there as well, and actually Cabrera Loyola in the number 5 car is not too far back either.
And you notice there, as they run forward, how Simon De Mori was taking a push from Mike Romanidis, and he just carried a bit too much speed. Jumps up over then that little bit of a grass verge that he goes over and loses the place to Romanidis. And that is another danger when you're playing with those bump drafting elements, is that you might get pushed past your braking point.
Oh, yes, that was a little bit dicey there. Last time by, lap time, get this lap time, Mikko Gada 2:08.295. The 2 drivers behind him were half a second further back. Mikko Gada just operating on another level entirely in this second race. It's been a lot cleaner for him than race 1, of course, where he was caught in the pack, but this race he's led from the front and showing his champion credentials here.
He absolutely is. There is no doubt about this second race. He's managed to get the gap and run with it, but here comes Elvis Rankin once again to the inside with a little help from Deegan Fairclough, trying to push his way through as well on Carnero. Not quite finding the line needed, but they are just trying to merge back into the train, and it's 5 in a line. You've got Cabrera Loyola on the back of this, who's suddenly gone extra carriage. Let's try and get through, and if he can move up forward, get into the quote-unquote VIP seats in second position, he would be so happy with that, especially as he joined into this race at the 11th hour. It was going to be touch and go whether we actually saw him race at all.
Yeah, amazing. It's what a story this would be if Cabrera Loyola could get on to the podium. Well, last lap then, it's last chance saloon for these drivers, and who wants to get these points? Who wants to get these points towards their championship campaign? Elvis Rankin really needs them desperately for that campaign as well, but he's going to have to get through the amazing Bruno Carnero, who's driven fantastically in this race. Wow.
They are pushing through the corners right now. Deegan Fairclough is pushing Elvis Rankin through the corners. This is incredible stuff, as now they will go towards that turn 5 corner through the Moraine Sweep. It is covered at the moment by Carnero, but that battle for third, as they run through, Cabrera Loyola as well having a look, and somehow they come out unscathed. Rankin now behind Deegan Fairclough, and he knows that any hopes of getting what he wants out of this are starting to fade at this moment in time, because they know here, Peter, that he's half a lap away from the end of this race.
Yeah, don't write it off just yet. You can never write anything off on the run to the checkered flag here at Road America. We've seen so many Hollywood finishes here, and don't write off another one as well. But can Carnero hold off Deegan Fairclough here as well? Fairclough really starting to rally on this last lap, but 3 seconds up the road. It's Miguel Gada marching to yet another victory in this Skip Barber Formula iRacing series.
Yeah, he is absolutely flying. There's a bit of traffic in front in the form of Ross Banfield a lap down. here, or 2 laps down, I should say, in this race. But for Mikel Garda, this has been an all-important drive. He had to make this one count, especially after the contact at the end of race number 1 here tonight. But has he done enough? With a lot pending on tarmac, at least at this moment, he will be a champion, but we will have to wait to confirm it over 1 week today at Sebring. Mikel Garda will take both victories on track here today as he takes it at Road America, and it's a brilliant 2 wide. Look at this, 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th to the line. Carnero steals it on Rankin. Fairclough steals it from Matteo by 2,000.
Wow, so close there for 2nd position, and that kind of just rubs that last bit of salt in the wound there for Elvis Rankin, just pipped on the line by Bruno Carnero, who must be said fully deserved that run to 2nd place.
Absolutely. Mikel Garda picks up the win. He'll be joined by Bruno Carnero and Elvis Rankin on the podium. Deegan Fairclough will take 4th, with the likes of Matteo in 5th and Felipe Cabrera Loyola in 6th position. 5 cars split by 0.4 of a second coming to the line. Michael Romanidis and Simon Demori will take 7th and 8th, with Jordan Johnson 9th and Jeffrey Decker in 10th position. It is a 4-way tie, I believe, 5-way tie even, for Hard Charger Award, so work that one out. Zach Holden will be in 11th, with Roman Bachman in 12th. Matthew Zeiss will take 13th ahead of Leiden Lee. Michael Janney in troubles finishes 15th, with Ross Banfield 2 laps down, and Pier Francesco Patricolo, Matt Adams and Matt Busa in 19th. Not a good day to be a Matt out there and goes forward. But that will do it for us then here from Road America. 1 week from today, we'll be jumping over to Sebring. Make sure that you stay with us for that one. We've got so much coming forward, and this championship may or may not be decided already.